Hey guys, welcome to the Dimensions Woodworks workshop. Today we're going to be building a slab leveling jig that's also going to give us the ability to level stumps. If you want to see how I did it, stick around.
So we start by ripping the plywood down into 3 sections, one for the base and one for each side. Then we cut those boards to length so that we have the correct length and they are all the same size. Then you rip your piece for the sides in half to give you 2 short sides of the jig. Now you want to begin the layout for where your bit will plunge through the base of the jig to actually level the material. You want to make sure to place your router on top of the workpiece so you can see where it is offset to one side. Most routers will be offset. Now we're going to get a Forstner bit so that we can hog out a good amount of material and give us clearance in order to place the jigsaw blade in those holes, and we can cut out the slot from the center of our jig. You want to begin your bore about halfway through your plywood and then flip the piece over and complete the hole from the opposite side so that you can prevent tear out. Now, using a jigsaw or a scroll saw, you can line up the holes that you've drilled with your Forstner bit and make the cuts appropriately to connect the dots. You want to take care to try to cut this line as straight as possible, but it's not crucial because what actually guides the router straight across the jig is the edges of the base of the router. Then we want to begin to run countersinks for our screws to attach the sides to the base of the jig. Now, using an accurate square, we want to begin to attach the sides of the jig to the base. This part is crucial, and we must make sure that that angle is exactly 90 degrees because that will control how flat and straight your piece becomes from the jig. Now, just to check our work, we want to run that engineering square down the length of our jig, and it looks good. This was the part that I found most difficult with this jig on a stump that isn't perfectly round or flat. I had to constantly adjust back and forth, making sure that all pieces stayed level in order to get a straight, flat surface on the top. Because this workpiece tapers from smaller at the top to larger at the bottom, I had to use wedges in order to make sure that my runners would stay level. This step could be omitted if you were using a log that was more round in the beginning, or if you had a flat slab on the workbench where you could have a known flat surface as a reference. Then I would go back with the level across the top to make sure that all of the jarring motion from driving the wedge home did not get the runners out of level through that process. Now we can begin the process of actually flattening our workpiece. You want to make sure that the router bit protrudes through the base of the jig only enough to make contact with the workpiece. Make shallow passes going left to right and then advance forward in very small increments. You can also use this jig to flatten slabs. Just create another set of rails and attach to the side of your workbench. That way you know the rails are referencing off of a straight surface. Now we can disconnect the rails from the side of the workpiece that we have completed, then flip the piece over and reattach.
Well, there it is, guys, all finished up. Super simple jig to build, and it also helps to add a lot of versatility to your workflow. So not only can we level stumps, but also slabs that are too large for your planer or joiner. If you want to see how I utilize this jig, check out my shop stool video here. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day.